From Anonymoo, how do I love and lead my unbelieving wife? She's a very demanding woman and fights me the whole way with everything I try to lead in.
Okay, wow. I mean, for starters, you didn't even get Anonymous's name right. And second, where to start? I mean, unbelieving wife? What, so like an atheist? Or believes in some other bullshit religion instead of your also bullshit religion? And hey, what about this? Stop trying to lead in things? Maybe like treat your partner, I don't know, like a partner, not a goddamn employee, you psycho.
Dude, you are living in a tough scenario.
Dude. I mean, this guy's like nearly 60 years old. I feel like dude really shouldn't be in his vernacular. Although, to be fair, I'm nearly 40 and I have started using the word riz instead of charisma, so you know. But I like it. It's exactly as slang should be. An efficient use of language, and riz fits that perfectly. Anyway, tough situation? Maybe, but it sounds like one of his own making, with this weird desire to dominate his partner while picking someone who clearly isn't fucking into that. This is why we talk to people before we marry them. I know. Crazy idea, but don't knock it till you've tried it. Like Riz.
This fellow needs a local church.
No, I think what you'll find is that this fellow needs a divorce, or maybe some marriage counseling, or maybe just some individual counseling to get it through his head that maybe he should make agreements with the person he's sharing his life with instead of demanding everything be the way that he wants it. Relationships, healthy ones at least, are about compromise, and maybe that compromise could be I'll make all of X decisions, but you have to agree to that before deciding that's what you're going to do, instead of deciding that actually my wife doesn't do what I say, so now I'm writing to Todd Friel the brain cells they have suffered enough and saying something embarrassing on the internet.
This fellow needs support. This fellow needs love.
I mean, possibly, but only if that love and support consists of, hey man, talk to your wife and see what sort of agreement you can come to. Stop trying to be her goddamn boss. And if it doesn't consist of that, then maybe the guy just needs a good kick up the arse.
And this fellow needs to be able to be transparent without feeling like he is a loser for having a wife who's a bit rebellious.
Who the thinks someone is a loser for having a wife that is quote-unquote rebellious, which I can only assume actually means has their own wants, needs, desire, personality? Oh, I know. I'll tell you who thinks that. Actual losers. People who genuinely think that they should be able to own other people. The sort of giant wanker who has their kids call them sir. And yeah, if you're watching this right now and you do that shit, I am calling you the fuck out. It's weird and it's creepy and it gives some serious ick vibes. They're your fucking children, not your freaking servants. And that doesn't mean that you can't be respected by them, but if you have to demand respect, you don't deserve it.
It happens. We need to help people like this, not them.
Okay, not gonna lie, the them line, that's actually pretty funny. And you know what? He kind of has it backwards, because we know help them means get their wife to stop having all those rights and shit, and not them because he hasn't commanded her to do so effectively. You should absolutely someone if they bang on and on and on about how their wife doesn't do as I command. Again, if you're so unhappy, fucking divorce them. Or again, talk to them. If they are happy and you aren't, maybe they actually want you to stick around. Maybe they will be willing to change some things just to make you happy. But coming in trying to swing your dick around, it's not going to make them respect you. If anything, it's going to do the absolute opposite for the vast majority of people.
What might I say to him?
God only knows, probably something that's going to make things infinitely worse, and makes his wife go, I've had enough of this shit, I'm out. What you should say is, stop being a little bitch and crying about how no one's doing everything I say and treating me like the royalty I so clearly am. Perhaps you could even, and get this right, not be the only one making decisions. Imagine that. Maybe you could even have your wife make certain decisions and then you don't have to and could do literally anything else instead. Madness, I know.
I would say that this is an issue that demands a long view. I don't think that this is... Hey!
Ah! God damn it, Todd, don't do that. I was trying to tune you out. I don't need you making me pay attention to your bullshit. And yeah, I agree. You shouldn't be fucking abusing your partner by trying to scare them straight. If you have to crash and bang and make loud noises and frighten your partner to get them to do as they're told, then you, my friend, are what we call a massive pulsating piece of dog shit. Now, whether Todd means to say that is another question, but maybe he's made a good point by accident. Who knows?
Golda, if I want to look at a sewing machine, I'm going to look at a sewing machine.
I'm sorry, I know I joked about not paying attention, but the fuck did he just say?
If I want to look at a sewing machine, I'm going to look at a sewing machine.
I genuinely don't know what the hell to even say to that. Where did that even come from? What is it supposed to mean? I don't know what's going on. Am I being pranked by Todd? Or has he finally lost it? Right, okay, so he wants to look at sewing machines and he's being told by his wife he shouldn't, maybe? Okay, after giving it a moment, I have two possibilities for what's going on here. There's one, that he really, really, really likes sewing machines. Perhaps he even likes sewing, which would make sense. It would be ultra weird to be into sewing machines but not actually sewing. Ew, what are you, crazy? And maybe he was told that he's not allowed to do that. It's not manly or some shit. But dude, you'll find that some of the manliest men on the planet know how to sew. They call them soldiers. It's literally a skill they need for survival and uniform maintenance and other shit. And even do it therapeutically. So actually to calm down. So yeah, get yourself a sewing machine, as long as you have like the space for it and are actually going to use it. And then the other one could be that he's calling other women sewing machines and that he's constantly looking at them. Two slight problems with that. Stop gawping at other people. It's rude to both you and your partner and also the person. And second, don't literally objectify people. It makes you sound like a crazy person.
We aren't Tevye, and this ain't Fiddler on the Roof.
Oh, right, okay. He was referencing Fiddler on the Roof. But, why? Everyone is, like, super fucking hyped about that sewing machine. Fuck, even the rabbis come to bless the damn thing. And the story itself, as far as my understanding goes, is about love winning out over tradition. So, a strange choice to bring up in this particular circumstance, frankly.
This takes some wisdom. This takes a long view.
Speaking of wisdom and a long something, what's the betting that this guy has been sent to the hardware store for a long stand or a long wait, or perhaps a gallon of headlight fluid and my personal favourite, rainbow paint? I mean, damn, I wish that really existed. It'd be like RGB for your house.
So, sir, might I suggest, if you are dealing with a woman who is acting like that...
Acting like what again? I like that you don't actually want to say it, really, because what she is acting like, from the sounds of it, is an individual, a person with dun-dun-dun agency, who, how very dare they, makes their own decisions and doesn't de facto kowtow to you and your unfaltering genius.
If she's a professing believer...
She's not? Did you not read the question? It said she's an unbeliever, which does bring up the other question. Does he think he gets to decide what she believes? Because if that's the problem, hooey, that's a fucking doozy. I hope that's not the case, but damn, if you think you get to decide what your fucking partner believes, you are out of your goddamn mind with that shit. Also, the professing believer thing. I've heard that one before, but used to describe atheist. I think it means someone who says they do X but doesn't really. And frankly, how the fuck do you know what other people do or don't believe? What is it with apologists and presuming they know what's inside other people's heads? God damn it.
Approach this ongoing sin issue.
Ongoing sin issue. It's a sin, is it? It is a sin to have your own thoughts and feelings and ideas. Well, why the fuck am I not surprised by that? Always amazes me how people can call the Bible and the Christian religion not incredibly, genuinely sexist piece of trash. And I don't use words like that lightly, but me, if it's a sin for your wife to be a human being, then how is it anything but? I mean, all humans are equally the worst, and that includes the women's, goddammit.
Gently, lovingly, teaching, not overtly all the time. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do know what you're talking about. You're talking about browbeating, and it's a form of abuse. If your only attempt to get someone to do something is by constantly nagging them and going on and on and on until they do whatever thing just to get you to shut up, that's bad. And yeah, guys can nag too. It's not a gendered action. Anyone can do it. Watch. God damn it, people, why haven't you subscribed to Sir Sic yet? I told you to do that last week, and I bet you haven't watched all of Spoonstaff's stories either. You know what I'm talking about, the animated show, voiced by Sir Sic and animated by the illustrious Mrs Sic. Don't make me tell you again, and it's not bad when I do it, by the way. As always, it is okay when I'm the hypocrite.
So, honey, I just heard John MacArthur talking about rebellious women. I really think you need to listen to this cassette. Okay, dated reference, but the point is...
You mean this guy? Pfft, more like dated human. And if you meant the cassette thing, not just dated, but fucking ancient at this point. I literally haven't seen a cassette player in about 2 decades. In fact, cassette players are so out of date that hipsters think they're cool. And that's how you know something has lost all value. Just like vinyls. Well, you see, the reason I like them is because of their inconvenience and the expense.
You can be a little bit more subtle about it. It doesn't need to take you automatically to 1 Peter 2. Just do a lot of teaching.
Oh, right, you are browbeating, just calling it teaching. That's like browbeating, but with the added pomposity and egotism of self-righteousness. Listen, darling, you're existing all wrong. Let me teach you how to exist like a proper wife should. Fuck off. Also, what the hell was that?
To 1 Peter 2. Just...
I want to hope I'm wrong, but it really sounded like he said, while laughing, no less, automatically to first beat her dude. Fuck, I really hope I misheard that. Because beating your spouse should never be a fucking option, you goddamn maniac.
Let the Holy Spirit sanctify her, grow her.
Make them into a less interesting person who no longer challenges you. Become infinitely less interested in them and makes you sit there thinking, this isn't the person I married. Why are they so boring now? And you see that individual at your work who's just like your not really a partner was before you ruined them, and then do the whole fucking idiotic circus all over again. Or just let it be. Be happy with the person that you fell in love with. One assumes you did it for a reason, you dumb asshole. And don't let some book, though, destroy your relationship. Fucking ridiculous.
And then wisely introduce the ideas of authority, and then you can teach on what submission really means.
Authority and submission. Listen, bucko, unless you are in like a BDSM relationship, submission and authority are just not things that should even be considered in a relationship between 2 grown adults. And anyone who thinks it does and that they should be the boss is a fucking idiot. Not only in that it's a shitty way to treat people, but it's also going to end up with you doing way more shit than you might actually want to do. I mean, who the fuck wants to make all the decisions in a relationship? That sounds goddamn exhausting.
This is discipleship. If we're talking about somebody who's a professing believer...
Oh my god, discipleship. Sorry, ship of your partner. How does that not sound super fucking weird? How do these words tumble out of your face and you not think, maybe fucking my disciple is a kind of strange thing to be doing?
Then we need to take the long view and be patient and loving, just like God is with us.
What God are you talking about? The jealous one? The one that sends bears to kill children for calling someone bald? The one that fucks someone's life up for a bet? The one that if you fail to believe in him after a lifetime of having no good reason to do so, who will now have you, a sentient creature that they apparently created the way that you are, tortured for all eternity? Which, thinking about it, you can only assume is the purpose that he must have had for you. Yeah, I've known patient people in my life, and none of them would ever dream of pulling any of that shit. If God's patient, I'm the omni-ultra-mega god of keeping my cool forever, for fuck's sake.
If and however you are saved and your spouse is rebellious,
I always love the assumption that you are saved, that you, Mr. Dumbass Esquire, thickest of all your friends, person who's never managed to not be a completely gullible twat, are the one who figured out who the real God be and how to worship them the proper. And yet all the smart people don't do the same. Am I so out of touch? No, it's the intelligent people who are wrong. Duh.
won't participate in orderly affairs of a family that you deem are really important.
What if he's fucking wrong? What if your boy keeps trying to make decisions and they are obviously fucking stupid, and his wife isn't rebellious but just is not willing to destroy the family and probably its finances because he really wants to buy 16 fucking sewing machines or whatever stupid shit he wants to do this week? This whole idea hinges on guys all being the most rational decision makers in a relationship, but most of the guys I have ever met are at the very least not some floating on high arbiter of correctitude, and most of the time are kind of fucking idiots who want to spend money on that stupid car they have sunk thousands into, or their collection of fucking Funko Pops, or their incredibly large Steam library. And I'm not saying having interests is bad, but to say they should be the only voice in the decisions of a household is so obviously fucking stupid to anyone who isn't desperate to cling on to an ancient vestige of power that's been completely out of date since well before the turn of the fucking century. Get a grip.
Then obviously the issue is conversion and regeneration, and I would focus on that way more than I would focus on submission.
Well, Todd, I think what you should focus on is shutting the fuck up, you goddamn clown.
Wait, before you go, I have something super important to tell you. It's life or death. It will change everything forever. Nope, wait, it's gone. Oh well, probably wasn't important. But while I have you, don't forget to comment, subscribe and notify. And if you want more of my smexy voice, check out Mrs Sic's channel Spoonstaff Stories, where I narrate and voice all the videos, and she does the work. And if you want to support the channel, check out the merch store for cool t-shirts, or check out Patreon, memberships and PayPal to support directly. Finally, follow me on the medias of social to get completely pointless guff and to keep up on the latest releases. Oh, I just remembered what I was going to tell you. Whatever you do, don't touch the